What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Ben Askren is celebrating 6 months of life after undergoing a lung transplant surgery back in June. The former UFC and Bellator standout marked the milestone by reflecting on his long and emotional recovery journey. Askren shared a heartfelt message on his Instagram, opening up about both the struggles and the gratitude he feels today. He explained that the last 6 months brought countless tough days, and while things are slowly getting easier, he knows he is still far from feeling normal again, despite the physical and mental challenges. Askren said the journey has also given him some of the most meaningful moments of his life. He spoke about strengthening relationships with close friends, spending more quality time with his family, and becoming a believer during this difficult period. Askren admitted that life can hit hard without warning, but emphasized the importance of accepting reality and choosing to move forward in the best way possible. He also expressed deep appreciation for the overwhelming support he received, whether in person or through social media. According to Askren, the encouragement, messages, and prayers played a huge role in keeping him motivated and inspired. His message stands as a powerful reminder of resilience, gratitude, and the value of community during life's hardest battles. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Petr Yan appears to have accepted a call-out from Sean O'Malley, and the Bantamweight division is heating up once again. Since regaining the UFC Bantamweight title, Yan has quickly found himself back in O'Malley's sights, with Shuga openly campaigning for a rematch that would give him another shot at the belt. O'Malley has made it clear that this fight is a priority, especially after their first encounter left plenty of debate among fans. The situation gained even more momentum after Yan seemingly acknowledged the call-out on social media. Yan posted a photo on his Instagram stories that many fans interpreted as a direct response, immediately fueling speculation about a potential rematch. Ideally, O'Malley would like the fight to take place on the rumored UFC White House card, assuming he gets past Song at UFC 324. With both fighters showing interest, the build-up for this rivalry appears to be far from over, and excitement continues to grow. Moving on to another news, a unique matchup is set to take place in the world of professional grappling. UFC heavyweight Valter Walker, the brother of Johnny Walker, is scheduled to compete against Zion Clark at Karate Combat 59 on February 13. Walker has built a reputation inside the UFC with 4 first-round heel hook finishes in the heavyweight division. However, that dangerous submission will not be an option in this contest. Clark is widely known for competing in wrestling and MMA, despite being born without legs, and his style has earned respect across combat sports. The matchup has already drawn attention due to rising tension between the two fighters. The situation began back in October when Clark released alleged direct messages between them. In those messages, Walker reportedly agreed to a jiu-jitsu match and confidently claimed he would choke Clark out. Now, all eyes are on how this intense clash will unfold. Moving on to another news. Daniel Cormier made it very clear that there is one man he wants absolutely no part of in a wrestling match, and that man is Yoel Romero. During a recent interview with Josh Thompson on the Weighing In show, Cormier shut down the idea immediately when Romero's name was brought up. DC explained that while he is still confident in his abilities, Raw wrestling against Romero is simply not something he is interested in entertaining. He openly admitted that Romero is still insanely good and remains an elite physical specimen even at this stage of his career. Cormier joked that he would rather wrestle the right opponent, and the only name that made sense to him was John Jones. He said that grappling with Jones feels different because of their long history and rivalry. DC laughed as he recalled watching Romero move and flip with explosive athleticism, saying that one look was enough to convince him to stay far away. According to Cormier, wrestling John Jones is about survival and experience, while wrestling Romero feels like stepping into danger for no reason. Beyond the playful back and forth, Cormier also shared serious thoughts about the changing business side of the sport. He addressed concerns surrounding fighters no longer receiving pay-per-view points under the new Paramount deal. DC pushed back on the idea that fighters are being hurt by the change, explaining that many are actually making more guaranteed money now than they did before. He pointed out that pay-per-view numbers are not what they once were, largely due to illegal streaming and shifting viewing habits. Cormier explained that what used to be considered big pay-per-view numbers, around 500 to 600,000 buys, simply does not carry the same weight anymore. Because of that, relying on points was no longer as reliable for fighters. He revealed that some fighters have already approached the UFC to restructure their contracts fights with the understanding that pay-per-view is fading away. According to DC, the UFC agreed, offering guaranteed pay that has improved financial stability. He emphasized that fighters across the entire card are benefiting, from those at the very beginning to those headlining events. Cormier believes the new structure creates more security and less uncertainty, allowing fighters to focus on performing rather than worrying about sales. While DC may not want any smoke with Yoel Romero on the mat, he remains confident that the future of fighter pay is moving in a better direction. Moving on to another news, Paulo Costa has finally reacted after being called out, following confirmation that he will no longer fight Bruno Ferreira next. It did not take long for the middleweight contender to attract attention, but Costa does not seem convinced that the challenge came from a serious threat. During the holiday period, reports surfaced confirming that Costa was pulled from his scheduled bout with Ferreira at UFC 326 on March 7th. The reason behind his withdrawal has still not been made public. Shortly after the announcement, a post appeared on Ikram Aliskerov's Instagram page, calling Costa out directly. The message claimed Aliskerov was in Utah, ready to fight, while Costa allegedly disappeared. The post demanded they settle things inside the cage, with no pullouts and no excuses, and tagged matchmaker Mick Maynard. The callout appeared to catch Costa off guard, as his first response was sarcastic, joking about going to church in Utah instead. Costa then took things further by questioning whether the post actually came from Aliskerov, or if it was written by his manager, Ali Abdelaziz. Costa mocked the situation, greeting Abdelaziz and asking how his time in Utah was, implying the challenge may not have been genuine. The Utah reference stood out, especially considering Costa was previously booked to fight Aliskerov at UFC 291 in July 2023, which took place in Salt Lake City, Utah. That fight never happened, as Costa withdrew before the event. Despite the history, the matchup could still be rebooked. Costa is coming off a much-needed win over Roman Kopylov in July, a result that helped keep him relevant in the division. Although he is no longer in the top 10, Costa is currently ranked 13th. Before that victory, he suffered back-to-back losses against former champions Sean Strickland and Robert Whittaker. Meanwhile, Aliskerov has won 2 straight fights and has only 1 loss in 4 UFC appearances, but he remains outside the top 15 rankings. Bruno Ferreira is also unranked, which suggests Costa is not strictly chasing top-ranked opponents at the moment, despite recently campaigning for a fight with Khamzat. Adding more fuel to the fire, Darren Till also took aim at Costa after the withdrawal news broke. Till unloaded on social media, blasting Costa with harsh insults and accusing him of lacking respect for the sport. The comments were brutal and quickly went viral. While both men have suffered high-profile title fight losses in the past, the exchange highlighted the growing frustration surrounding Costa, who has now had 7 fights canceled since 2020. Moving on to another news. Michael Venom Page is openly growing frustrated with the UFC and is no longer hiding how fed up he feels with the situation. Page has been bouncing between welterweight and middleweight, not by choice, but because he says suitable opponents at 170 pounds simply are not being offered to him. His most recent appearance came in August 2025 when he stepped up to middleweight and scored a win over Jared Cannonier. Despite that victory, Page still has no clear timeline for when he will return to the octagon. During a recent appearance on the Shits and Gigs podcast, MVP let his feelings be known. He criticized the UFC for repeatedly telling him that there are no available welterweight matchups, a claim he says he does not believe at all. Page explained that the promotion has already hinted that his likely next fight will take place in London, as the UFC is expected to return there in March, around the 21st. He said the UFC constantly reminds him that he is a big name in the UK and that they want him on the card, yet no opponent has been secured. According to Page, he has made it clear that his preference is to compete at welterweight. He admitted that he accepted a short-notice middleweight fight with Shara Bullet without any complaints. After that, he asked for a return to welterweight, only to be told nobody was available. He then agreed to another middleweight bout, stayed professional, and once again requested a welterweight matchup. The response, once again, was that no one was available. Page said the situation has become increasingly frustrating, especially after watching recent fight cards where several welterweights delivered standout performances. He revealed that he even suggested specific names to the UFC, pointing out fighters who had just won in impressive fashion and would make perfect sense for a London event. The response he received was that the UFC already had plans for those fighters. What angered Page most was the inconsistency. He pointed out that some of those fighters had literally just stepped out of the cage, while he has been inactive for months. In his view, it makes no sense that the UFC has clear plans for fighters who just competed, yet cannot find a single opponent for him across 2 divisions. For MVP, the lack of clarity and communication has pushed his frustration to the breaking point. Moving on to another news. Islam Makhachev has once again shut down the idea of Shavkat Rakhmonov receiving an immediate title shot, while Rakhmonov remains undefeated and has already beaten 7 opponents inside the UFC. Many believe he is firmly in the welterweight title conversation. However, Makhachev does not share that view and has made it clear that he does not expect the Kazakh contender to be next in line for a championship fight. Rakhmonov has been discussed as a future title challenger for quite some time. Last December, he was expected to face the now former champion Belal Muhammad, but that bout fell apart after Muhammad was sidelined with a bone infection. Instead, Rakhmonov went on to fight and defeat Ian Gary as 2025 began. At that point, the general belief was that a title shot was inevitable. However, injuries kept Rakhmonov out of action, slowing his momentum and keeping him away from the octagon for over a year. Recently, Makhachev spoke with Usha Taika and was once again asked about the possibility of facing Rakhmonov. His response was consistent with his previous stance. Makhachev explained that if Rakhmonov returns, he does not believe the UFC will give him a title shot right away. He added that if the fight is booked, he has no problem with it, but emphasized that Rakhmonov has not competed in more than a year and should earn his way back with a win first. This is not a new opinion from Makhachev. After defeating JDM in November to secure the welterweight title, he made similar comments regarding Rakhmonov's situation. At the time, Makhachev said that the first priority for Rakhmonov is simply returning to competition. He pointed out that a contender cannot sit out for over a year, recover from injuries, and then jump straight into a title fight without proving readiness. Makhachev also mentioned that there is no personal tension between them. He explained that the two greeted each other respectfully, shook hands, and exchanged congratulations. According to Makhachev, if Rakhmonov fully recovers and the UFC decides he is next, he would accept it without hesitation. Some Rakhmonov supporters argue that Makhachev is making excuses to avoid the matchup. However, it is difficult to ignore the logic behind his comments. Historically, the UFC rarely awards title shots to fighters who have been inactive for such a long period. While exceptions are sometimes made for massive stars like Jon Jones, Makhachev's stance reflects how the promotion typically operates. For now, activity and momentum appear to be the key factors shaping the welterweight title picture. Moving on to another news, Anthony Joshua was reportedly involved in a serious car crash earlier today while spending time in Nigeria, celebrating the holidays and his recent win over Jake Paul. According to early reports, the former heavyweight champion sustained minor injuries after the vehicle he was traveling in collided with another car. Joshua was said to be sitting in the back seat of a Lexus SUV when the incident occurred. Officials claim the Lexus struck a stationary vehicle on the road. Preliminary details suggest the SUV may have been traveling above the speed limit before losing control. Reports indicate the driver attempted to overtake another car, but the maneuver went wrong, causing the vehicle to crash into a parked truck. The situation quickly drew attention at the scene, with multiple passengers affected. It has been reported that the passenger seated next to the driver, as well as the passenger sitting beside Joshua in the back seat, were injured during the crash. Due to platform restrictions, specific footage cannot be shown, but videos from the scene have surfaced on social media and are circulating online. The visuals sparked strong reactions across the combat sports world. Darren Till responded to the incident with an emotional message, criticizing bystanders who chose to film instead of helping. Till expressed concern for Joshua's condition and emphasized how disturbing it was to see people recording such a traumatic moment without showing care or urgency. Till also mentioned hearing reports that some individuals involved in the crash may not have survived, offering prayers to their families and loved ones. He went on to compare the situation to other public incidents involving famous figures, pointing out how crowds often behave recklessly, even when someone could be seriously hurt. His message highlighted frustration toward grown adults acting irresponsibly in moments that demand compassion. Jake Paul also addressed the situation, putting rivalry aside to share a supportive statement. Paul stressed that life is far more important than boxing and offered prayers for those who lost their lives, as well as for Joshua and anyone impacted by the accident. He extended his condolences to everyone involved and wished Joshua a full and speedy recovery. As more information continues to emerge, the focus remains on the well-being of everyone affected. While Joshua's injuries are believed to be minor, the incident serves as a sobering reminder of how quickly circumstances can change and how fragile life truly is.